You ever look at a tool and realize it's actually smarter than you? Because I spent 40 minutes this morning arguing with my digital calipers before remembering I hadn't put a battery in the thing.
Well, Tiger, if it makes you feel better, I think the machines are officially winning. Did you see this update from ESAB? They're basically putting a brain inside the welder now.
I saw that. Octopus steps. It sounds like something that would try to take over a submarine. But apparently, it's a GPS for welders. It's meant to guide you through these massive, complex weld sequences so you don't warp the frame or miss a bead.
Is that actually helpful, or is it just more digital clutter in the helmet? I mean, don't you usually just, weld where the metal meets?
If only. You get into a big structural project, and if you weld the wrong corner first, the whole thing pulls like a teenager with a grudge. Suddenly, your perfect rectangle is a trapezoid and your day is ruined. Having a little digital voice, well, a visual guide, telling you, hey, jump over to the left side now could save a lot of grinding and swearing. It's like having a master fabricator looking over your shoulder without the tobacco breath.
Speaking of master fabricators, Joe Makowitz actually put AI to the test recently. She wanted to see if a chatbot could give legitimate shop advice.
And did the robot tell her to use wood glue on a muffler?
Not quite. She said it's actually a decent novice mentor. If you need to know the melting point of 6061 aluminum or why your art keeps sputtering, it's fast. But the second you get into the feel of the puddle or how to handle a vertical upweld on a humid Tuesday, it falls flat.
Thank goodness. My job security depends entirely on the fact that a computer doesn't know what a hair more heat feels like. It's a tool, Alex, not a replacement. It's like my favorite old chisel. It won't carve the wood for me, but it makes me look a lot better than I actually am.
While we're talking about smart shifts, the Sparkies are moving into some pretty high-tech territory too. Electrical Contractor magazine is pushing low-voltage integrated systems hard. It's not just pulling Romex anymore. It's basically nerves for a house.
Smart homes. I remember when a smart home meant you had a clapper for your bedside lamp. Now, if you aren't savvy with industrial automation, you're basically just a guy who changes light bulbs.
You always tell people to get on those forums, though. You still lurking on electrician talk?
Every now and then, usually when I've managed to trip a breaker I didn't even know existed. But seriously, for the guys coming up, that's where the gold is. You can read the National Electrical Code Book until your eyes bleed. But seeing a master electrician from Chicago explain how he solved a commercial ground fault in a flooded basement, that's where the real education happens.
It's the path to master electrician status, right? It's a long road.
It's a marathon through a lightning storm. But man, the demand is insane. Look at Winnebago Manufacturing. They're adding 10 new welding cells to their facility. 10. That's a lot of steel moving through the door. The trades aren't just staying steady, they're exploding.
Okay, let's pivot to the money. Because we can build the coolest stuff in the world, but if we're eating sawdust for dinner because nothing's sold, we have a problem.
Believe me, I've had many a sawdust sandwich.
Well, the maker economy is sitting at $23 billion right now, but the 2026 pricing guides are getting psychological. Have you ever heard of charm pricing?
Is that where I smile nicely at the customer until they give me an extra 50 bucks?
Close. It's the 99 trick. Apparently, the human brain sees $49.99 and thinks 40-ish instead of 50.
It feels a little dishonest, doesn't it? I've always been a round number guy. 75 bucks, take it or leave it.
Maybe, but then there's price anchoring. You show them a massive $5,000 hand-carved mahogany dining table first. Then, when they see your $800 coffee table, it feels like they're practically stealing it from you.
Oh, I've accidentally done that. I showed a lady a custom entertainment center I was working on that cost more than my first truck. She ended up buying 3 cutting boards and a birdhouse just to get a deal. I thought she was just being nice. Turns out I was a psychological mastermind.
You're a natural, Tiger. But seriously, the data from Rain POS shows that hybrid selling is the future. You need the digital storefront so people can find you at 2 a.m., but you still need to show up at the pop-up shops to let people touch the wood grain.
That's the truth. People don't just buy a bowl. They buy the story of the guy who almost lost a thumb making it.
Speaking of losing thumbs, or at least losing your mind, May is Mother's Day month. Are you actually prepared, or are we doing the usual Saturday night panic?
I walked into the shop yesterday, looked at the piles of scrap and the layers of dust, and just walked right back out. I couldn't even find my scroll saw under the mountain of projects I'll get to eventually.
The big clean is trending on YouTube for a reason.
It's true. A cluttered shop is like a cluttered brain. I spent 2 hours today doing nothing but vacuuming and organizing my driver bits. And let me tell you, There is no greater feeling of power than knowing exactly where your T25 bit is.
So, what's the Mother's Day play? I saw a Mom I Love You scroll saw project that's all over the forums.
That's a solid one. It looks impressive, but it's really just about patience. You can't rush a scroll saw. If you do, the blade snaps, the wood cracks, and you end up saying words that your mother definitely wouldn't want to hear.
Are you using the DeWalt for the assembly, the DCF 87?
Always. That impact driver is the Swiss Army knife of my kit. I've used it to hang heavy cabinets and to drive tiny brass screws into jewelry boxes. It's got that soft start trigger. It doesn't just go 0 to 60 and strip the head off the screw. It treats the work with a little respect.
You talk about your tools like they're your kids.
Better than kids, they don't complain when I leave them in the cold garage all night.
All right, before we let everyone get to work, what's the big takeaway for a Tuesday?
You know, I was thinking about that AI welder thing, whether it's a computer-guided torch, a complex electrical grid, or a pricing strategy, it all comes down to the same thing. Don't be afraid of the new tech, but don't let it do the thinking for you. Use the AI to check your work, use the charm pricing to get them in the door, but at the end of the day, the quality of the joint is on you.
Even if the joint is a little crooked?
Especially then. That's just character. Go build something today, folks. Even if it's just a cleaner shop.
See you in the den.